Hello, welcome to episode 100.
Oh,
Of Dead Pants! Oh, yeah. Today, Clay is talking about paranormal occurrences in Vietnam.
I kind of went through a phase a little while ago where I was looking at paranormal stories.
I went through a phase. I found this subreddit was all these stories from people who worked in the parks department, like going to the deep woods, some spooky stuff.
All right, so this guy, he asked his grandpa, telling different stories about the war in Vietnam.
Tell me about the war, Grandpa.
All right, so his grandpa, he was drafted to Vietnam. He was an infantryman.
That means he was on the feet.
Yep, and he was really short. He wore boots. 5'4". So guess what that means?
That's pretty short.
They called him Elmo.
Tunnel rat.
What?
Tunnel rat. Oh.
There were lots of tunnels that the Vietnamese would dig to get around. And so the tunnel rats have to go into the tunnels and clear it out.
And kill him, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you'd have to disarm explosives and booby traps above ground and fight through and destroy the tunnels below ground.
Not to mention get stung and eaten by things.
I saw a video of a couple of different booby traps from Vietnam. They're pretty gruesome.
Pretty awful.
Pretty terrible. That's insane.
And he had another guy, a half Hispanic man named Daniel. All right, so they were sent out to clear and destroy a tunnel. They were equipped with, crappy flashlights, some explosives, an old revolver for clearing out the tunnel.
An old revolver?
An old
Okay,
one.
I'm now doubting the validity of this story.
What does validity mean?
The truthfulness.
Right.
The amount I believe the story has gone down considerably because he said it was an old revolver. This is like an old man's like, I had to go uphill both ways with an old revolver that only shot once.
He said it was because the M1911 was crap for clearing out tunnels.
It was crap. It was too long.
M1 yeah, it was crap. The M1 Grand?
Yeah, it was too long.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
Yeah, man. But they had pistols.
You did Uzi, bro.
They wouldn't give him an old. This is the guy clearing the tunnel. They give him a new pistol.
An Uzi, bro.
Yeah.
What if they just didn't have a new pistol?
An Uzi, man.
Maybe. I'm just saying. I'm starting to doubt everything Clay says. This is a pretty crappy 100th episode, Clay.
Well, everything with a grain of salt when you're talking about paranormal stuff.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm all in. It's paranormal. I'm all in.
All right. So they went through the tunnel, and it was pretty small, even for a normal tunnel. They're not finding any traps, no Viet Cong. It seems like it's completely abandoned. They stay on guard, though, for booby traps and anyone that might be in there. They come to a larger section in the tunnel. They can stop crawling, and they can get into a kind of a crouching position. They can hear water running through the tunnel. They start to think that they're either above a river or the tunnel is just led into a water cavern. They shine a flashlight on the other side of the room, and they see 3 massive spiders.
Huge.
He said they were longer than a foot.
Dude.
Each of them had a leg span of about almost 3 feet.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's a big spider.
Those exist, I think.
That's a big spider.
That sounds real to me.
Yeah.
He said 3 of them were bunched up right next to each other with one resting about 3 feet away from the cluster. Now, the grandfather hates spiders, so he's just sitting there paralyzed. Both of them just sit there quietly. After a little bit of time, he looks away from the cluster at the spider that's separated.
The lone wolf.
Mm-hmm. And it's gone.
Oh, just like spiders do.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. I'm doubting the story again because he did a stereotypical spider thing.
And then he looks on the left and he sees that it's right there. It's slowly advancing towards him. He screams. He starts firing at it. It doesn't even slow it down. And so they start quickly racing back out of the tunnel, and they throw a grenade into the chamber, and it collapses behind them.
Dude.
These spiders.
Spider.
So he's the guy who burns down his house to kill the spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it didn't follow them out or anything, so it must have either died or lost interest.
Dude, why didn't they give him like a flamethrower?
Yeah.
Of course,
Why
I'm
don't they just
imagining they
give
probably
him a can of hairspray and a lighter.
I'm imagining they probably didn't have anything.
The moment that you introduce fire into a tunnel,
Oh,
love
that's
it.
Right.
air is gone.
Dude,
no air.
no, you're thinking about it all wrong, man.
You'd pass out.
Think about the spiders.
You would asphyxiate
Think about the spiders.
No, you would asphyxiate. It's a very bad deal.
You know what else
Very
would
bad.
asphyxiate?
We didn't like that. You'd asphyxiate.
Is the worst train
You
deal
turn it.
ever.
You turn into a fish. I'm just saying. Turn into a fish. The buses, they go here, they go there. Did you watch Trump's talk with Tucker?
No.
Trump impersonated Kamala Harris in the middle of it.
Really?
It was
Really?
very
Really?
funny.
Oh man,
Wait,
I
a
watched the
recent-
debate.
a recent-
I gotta look that up.
Wait, the debates are going on right now?
Yeah.
Well,
How come I'm not hearing anything about him?
no, so Trump didn't go.
Because he was court dated, right?
No. He could have gone, but he decided not to go.
He did the interview with Tucker Carlson.
He did, yeah. I think, did more people watch that than the actual debate?
I have no idea.
Wait, who's debating right now?
Joe? No. It's the Republican primary.
So
So it doesn't matter.
This is the ones that
It
nobody
doesn't
cares
matter.
about. Yeah, okay.
Trump's gonna be. He's like, why would I go to this? I'm gonna be president. Why would I go to all these Republicans? There's just gonna be
Yeah, he's going to be president.
They're basically competing for who's going to be his vice president.
basically, yeah,
Why would he even care? Like he would even listen to a VP.
yeah.
All right, back to the stories though. This
Okay.
time they're crawling in a tunnel. How novel. They find a hidden booby trap that would release a bunch of scorpions and snakes on them if they tripped it.
Dude.
Yeah. They stop
Dude,
to
that's
consider
messed
their
up.
options, but they figure they might be able to disarm the trap. How hard could it be?
Just
Just a
snakes and
snake.
scorpions.
Pretty hard. It was very
hard.
complex for some reason. They weren't sure how to disarm the trap, so they decided to just blow it up and hope the tunnel doesn't collapse in on them.
They threw a grenade at it.
Pretty much. Oh yeah, he lobbed a grenade.
Dude, how we do this one? Blow it
Grandpa,
up.
will you help me chop down this tree? Sure, son. All you gotta do is lob a grenade in the roots.
Dude, to be honest, I wouldn't do anything different. I would lob grenades.
Yeah. All right, so they
He's
grabbed on-
he's like, I don't know how long I'm gonna live here in Vietnam. Who cares?
Whoa,
Clay?
Clay.
When I go home, I'll never have grenades again. I might as well
'em.
use as many grenades as I can while I got them.
Lob them if you got them.
So the trap gone, they continue forward as they get to where the trap was because they moved a little ways down the tunnel. Obviously, they noticed there was another tunnel. Like the wall fell in, and there was another tunnel.
Oh, after it blew up?
Yeah, and then
Ooh.
out of that other new tunnel came a 5-foot-long centipede.
Dude.
5 foot. Yeah.
So are all these paranormal stories like, I saw these really big bugs in the jungle?
Because they're
Pretty
big.
much.
Big bugs.
Not wanting an incident with the spiders. It barreled past them and it went deeper into the tunnels. They didn't want an incident with the spiders, so they planted their charges and collapsed the tunnel.
Imagine all those legs. They're
What
much
do-
bigger because he's 5
What
foot
did you
long.
do in Vietnam? Well,
Well,
I killed bugs.
Big bugs. Giant centipede.
We sent these 3 guys down there, and all we hear is explosions. What's going on? It's just bugs.
You guys like, what was it? What was it? It was a spider.
Now, the grandfather said he never saw anything necessarily, but there was stories of rock apes. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, the rock apes.
rock
They
apes.
throw rocks at things.
Yeah.
Rock apes.
That's it. They saw like a bunch of wild apes. The people said that they saw a bunch of wild apes in the jungle that threw rocks at them. And the grandfather's like, I don't believe him for a second. But like, there's no monkeys in that area or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's weird. The grandfather, he saw a lot of weird stuff, but he didn't believe that.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. All right, about halfway through the tunnel, through the wharf, they had to clear some tunnels again. Surprise. As they start crawling through, they start hearing faint voices.
Mm.
It's something they can't understand, so they're assuming it must be the Vietnamese. Or maybe running water far away,
Whispering.
distorted by the echoes of the cave.
Whisper water.
They get closer, closer. And then when they get to a room full of people, they decide to ambush them, then blow up the tunnels. They pull out their revolvers and rush forward down into the cave, and they fell into a spacious room, large white eyes all around them. He's like, that's a lot of Vietnamese. Raising his flashlight, he noticed these are not the Vietnamese.
They were.
Dude.
They were 3 to 4 foot tall, lanky, white, and had big eyes and ears. They were each wearing a bunch of different clothes, some obviously looted from corpses. Others were basically just wearing rags. They made some hissing sound, and Dan at him and Daniel and started running deeper into the cave. The grandfather and Daniel were kind of awestruck and didn't know what to do.
Like, oh, we found jungle babies.
Yeah. So Daniel, being Hispanic,
They were tall, right?
No, 3 foot.
Oh,
small.
Little tiny pale hobbit guys.
oh, weird.
So they crawled out and reported the tunnel as abandoned. But Daniel, being Hispanic, he goes on about Latin American folklores involving gnomes.
Gnomes now.
Wait, so they look like humans?
So he described them as pale, small, with big ears, and they were wearing rags and clothes they looted off of dead soldiers.
Nice.
Nice.
Why is
Nice.
just say it like
Nice and creepy.
nice?
On one day on their day off, no spelunking for the day, a few soldiers go down the river to cool off. About 30 minutes later, one soldier comes back screaming about how something in the river attacked one of them. They grab their rifles and a first aid kit. They run down to the river. There are 3 soldiers on the bank. One is bleeding profusely, and the other 2 are administering basic first aid. The grandfather said that something tore his left leg completely off. They look in the river, which is now red from the blood, and they see a giant serpent eel-like creature just swimming around.
Dude.
Yellowish and long fins on the side. It looks like a massive moray eel with fins.
Why don't you say it was a big eel?
So with the Loch Ness Monster
They're the
all along.
shrieking eels.
Yeah. So they shot at it, and it swam away. And the man died of blood loss as they tried to get him back to a
Man.
medical tent.
You know, instead of Call of Duty like making the same game every year.
Yeah, why don't they make a supernatural Call of Duty where like,
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
soldiers and
okay, ready? So Black Ops. Here's my pitch. Ready?
No, look. Black Ops like kept going futuristic. Why don't they go like it's old? It's in Vietnam. It's these weird animals and stuff.
Okay, here's my ready.
Like like the original Call of Duty.
Are you ready for my pitch?
Sure.
go for it.
So, it's 1992.
Okay.
It's this town in like North Texas. So kind of deserty, right? Small population, maybe like 5,000 people live there. Small town.
Okay.
Things start going down. People start going missing. Things are being sighted.
Mole people.
The army closes off the town and sends in their team. You're part of that team.
I'm a part of the team.
And you're
Are the people evacuated?
I think they're either evacuated and you find people who are just hiding in their house that didn't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So you have friendlies and you have enemies, and
Yeah.
but it's in America, Call of Duty style thing, fighting monsters, and you get some kind of unique, cool twist on like the gnomes underground are freaky and cool.
Bugs.
Yeah.
You can't forget
Like,
the bugs, though.
You could have a level where it's, you're crawling in these
Yeah.
tunnels. You have very limited.
Tunnel rat
That's why
levels.
that King Kong game was so fun.
Yeah, the
Peter
King Kong
Jackson's
game.
King
Yeah,
Kong.
this is kind of like Skull Island stuff.
Skull
Yeah,
Island,
Skull
but
Island.
in North Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There. That's a game.
Done.
Done.
All right, so story number 6 of 7.
Starring Hank Hill.
Hank Hill.
All right, so they were ordered to go into a tunnel for the tunnel stuff, and then they heard a deafening roar come from the tunnel.
Dude.
They were all stunned. They look at their officer, who just kind of shrugs and says, well, you got to go in.
He goes, no. He's like, glad I'm not going in there, chums. After you.
Yeah. They said it's filled with giant ants. He doesn't say how big they are.
It's full of giant ants.
And spiders. And they continue to crawl through. The roaring gets more frequent the further they crawl down. And eventually they decide, I'm not going to die to whatever that is. So they just plant the charges where they're at, and then they hurry to get out of the tunnel. As they start crawling back up, the tunnel starts shaking like crazy. They hurry up and get out back to the surface, and then everything up there is shaking as well. They detonate the charges, destroying most of the tunnel, and then the roaring and shaking stops.
Dude.
So they were intruding, and it got angry. It started shaking all of Vietnam.
It wasn't chasing them. It planted both meaty hands on either side of the tunnel and started shaking.
It was trimmers, dude. Straight up
Trimmers.
trimmers. It was the trimmer. It
Oh,
was a
you could
graboid.
have a trimmer level in the game, North Texas. Dude, that's so cool.
Graboids.
Nice.
Graboids.
Freaking just shaking the ground.
Can we make can we just do this?
Yeah, I'll make a retro shooter.
Yeah.
It's got to be retro because that's the only
Make
way
it
I
with
can pull it off.
Unreal, dude.
That's the only way how any.
Yeah,
person
listen,
can pull it
go
off.
art direction.
Yeah.
Don't go high fidelity graphics.
Yeah.
All right, so the final story. And this man mentioned that his grandfather cried while telling it.
This is the crying one?
Yes. So it's near
Right.
the end of the war. They're once again clearing out tunnels. No creepy crawlies.
Okay.
As they're crawling through, they realize the tunnel leads into a cave. They decide to explore the cave a bit, better than
Might as well.
crawling through tunnels.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, war's almost over. You want to keep crawling in the mud or check out this cool cave?
Check out the cave.
I mean, like, have you ever crawled in a tunnel?
I
It
know.
is scary.
It was sketch.
Dark. You can't move much.
Have
You
you?
feel like you're going to get stuck.
Yeah, when we were digging that thing under the porch,
Yeah.
I crawled in there just to see what it was like.
It was freaky.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't make myself do it. It was claustrophobic. Like, it was overwhelming.
Man.
We
It's scary, man.
whenever we were in Israel, we found a couple old cisterns, and there were some that we were crawling into. Like 10 guys were crawling at once,
Yeah.
and you were like shoulder to shoulder with the wall, like inching your way, trying to get
Yeah.
to the end of it. And the very end was like this tiny little room that we barely fit in, but it's all stone, so
It could collapse on you.
Awesome.
yes.
There was one of them where you went in like at the bottom of the hill and you crawled up this hole and you climb out of the top of the
The
hill.
top of it.
It was so cool.
I think I went through that one.
Yeah, that one was fun.
Yeah.
So they notice they're about to head back up, and then they realize there's a light from one of the passages in the cave up ahead. Not either of their lights, so they're like, oh, this must be the Vietnamese.
Here they are.
Time to win this war.
in a cave.
Yep.
We won. They climb up. That was it. We got him.
There's a Hitler down there, and
Just Hitler down there.
Vietnam wasn't Hitler.
Guten Tag.
well, he was, dude. Anything could be down there.
He's down there painting. He's painting like,
It's actually more probable that Hitler's down here.
All right, so they grasp their revolvers and they walk through the passage. He says that they walked into a well-lit room filled with brightly colored plant life that they couldn't recognize at all. The light was coming from an orb in the ceiling of the cave. Vividly colored birds flying around everywhere. They decide to explore a little bit. Among other things, he finds spiky red fruit the size of a watermelon,
spiky.
Oh.
a bright yellow pool of water.
Oh, urine.
Swimming.
Let's pee in this pee.
He said it felt like he was in a fever dream. They head towards the back of the room and find a stone altar. Blood is stained across the stone. There's a couple of knives and other tools laying around the stone.
Oh my.
Their curiosity is now turned into dread. They turn to get out of there, and then they stop. There are 5 reptilian-looking humanoids staring at them. He said they were about 5.5 feet tall. They were blackish green and scaly. They all appear to be wearing robes of some sort. Without hesitating, my grandfather and Daniel fire upon the creatures. One goes down, another shrieks out in pain. The room gets extraordinarily bright, and the grandfather passes out. Grandfather wakes up back in the main part of the cave. The passage him and Daniel went down is gone. Daniel is also lying next to him, but is barely breathing. The grandfather can only do so much for him down there, so he drags Daniel out of the cave and back through the tunnels. He gets back out and hauls up Daniel. They grab him and send him off to get medical attention. After pulling Daniel out of the cave, grandfather remembers what he saw in the cave. He says his vision once again goes black, and that then he can't remember the next couple days. According to the other guys in his platoon, he was in a state of shock. He apparently could barely speak and stuttered a lot, almost like he was shell-shocked or something. He was also sent to get medical attention. 2 days later, he mostly recovers. He goes back and asks the platoon about Daniel. Apparently, he died shortly after being pulled out of the tunnel. And then the grandfather breaks down crying.
Oh, poor Daniel.
Man.
Buddy. Man, them lizards.
They found the reptilians.
They killed one.
Killed one of them.
So, I mean, you stumble upon a bunch of pale-looking people.
yeah.
You don't shoot them.
Yeah.
Come across a giant spider, you blow it up.
Right.
Come across
across
a reptile guy, no hesitation.
Well,
War,
the pale
baby.
people ran away from them.
Yeah, but the
The
reptiles are just staring at him.
Yeah, they came up right behind you and were staring at you and outnumbered you.
And you
They
just
didn't
saw
just
a
say, like,
scary altar.
Whoa. They say, like,
Yeah.
what are you doing in our sacrificing chamber?
He's like, excuse me, you want some of this spiky red fruit?
They just have a
It's
British
not
accent.
real blood. It's just spiky red fruit.
bathe in the piss?
Would you like to bathe in a reptilian
We've
piss?
all contributed.
It took several days, but it's at the
It
right
is
temp-
worth it.
It's at the right temperature.
The guy does mention he showed a generic picture of a reptilian to his grandfather,
Yeah.
and the grandfather just about looked like he was about to have a heart attack.
Like, which picture did he show him?
He said generic.
If I Google generic reptilian picture,
Generic reptilian is Elon Musk. no, it's Mark Zuckerberg. Wow, man. So what's your strat if you're in a tunnel and you run into a reptilian? What's your strat?
Probably die.
Okay.
I
pretty
really don't
sound.
have any options.
my strat is that I would wait. Because, like, I've never seen something like this before.
Yeah, freak you out, man.
I would be more curious than anything.
Am I in the same situation?
Almost. Let's say you're
I
out.
would probably observe while walking backward. To be honest.
Have they made any movies with just a reptilian monster?
Well, they don't let them do that because
The creature from the Goo Lagoon is kind of reptilianish.
Is this SpongeBob? You said Goo Lagoon.
Not Goo Lagoon, the swamp monster.
You mean Black Lagoon?
Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
But it's more swamp. It's more
That's more
amphibious.
yes. It's not
Yeah.
reptilian.
reptilian.
I would try to juke him out. You know,
Define the verb juke.
You know,
Like when you're playing
when
football-
you throw all your weight one way to avoid something.
That's how you run away from alligators. You zigzag.
Oh,
you juke him.
Juke them.
Juke them. That'll work against reptilians
But-
too.
You have your gun on you too, obviously.
Yeah.
So you're shooting and juking.
I guess in signs the aliens were sort of reptilian.
we're aliens.
No, have you like paused the movie
Yeah.
when he only showed? He doesn't look.
They're
He's just kind of
aliens.
pale and tall and
They're straight up aliens. They're not reptiles.
yeah.
Creepy. Yeah. They made those clicky noises. Dude.
Tell you what, man, go down that hole, found this old reptilian sacrifice and chamber with a full bucket of pissing.
Shut them dead.
Shot him dead, man.
Kill two.
Texas woman suspected of DUI after hitting "Don't drink and drive" sign.
Maybe she was just like, don't tell me what
Drunk
to do.
and angry.
Well, maybe she wasn't drinking. She was just DUI,
What does DUI stand for, Joshua?
drinking under influence, which could be,
Driving
which
under the
could
influence.
mean other things.
I'm drinking under the influence. I do that every day.
You could be under the influence of drugs,
Yeah.
alcohol.
She could have
or
been on
just
meth.
emotional
Well,
emotions.
okay.
Yeah, she hit the sign.
Made the news. Woman hit sign.
Maybe that's a sign that she should stop.
Driving.
Under influence.
Every woman.
Let's see the statistics. How many men have hit the sign? How many women have hit the sign? Oh my, that's a long list
Oh
of
my.
women.
Trees planted by the city in East Portland 2 years ago are dead because the city didn't water them. They say we simply are not set up nor have the skills for tree maintenance beyond that.
Trees are just too hard.
Beyond that.
We cannot
So
water
beyond not watering them, they couldn't do anything.
We can't do anything greater than water trees,
like,
which we
dude,
can't do.
You know those trees I just planted? You're supposed to water those.
Hey, this is Portland.
shoot.
We don't know how to make trees.
I don't know how to water.
I don't drink water.
How do I?
This
how
is
do I
not
carry
my
it?
fault.
I gave the tree a Gatorade last year.
Listen, Chad, it's not my fault. You didn't give me the resources.
Chesney, shut up.
Yeah, that is disappointing.
It is.
Our forefathers planted billions of trees.
Nay, thousands.
The Portland Bureau of Transportation used federal infrastructure dollars a little more than 2 years ago to plant about 30 saplings in a grassy triangle in the East Portland neighborhood of Mill Park between Southeast Avenue in this place. The trees included...
Josh, if you don't even care, how is Portland going to care? They couldn't even
don't.
find, like,
They
the
don't
trees
care.
are in this place. They didn't set up sprinklers?
Hey, they didn't have the equipment, all right? So lay off.
So how'd they expect to water
These trees were-
Someone have a long hose? Were they going to go out and water the trees every day?
The trees
I
included.
gave him
were-
a bucket, okay?
got one of those green things they fill with water, and they have the little thing, and then they come out, and it comes out like a shower head.
A gardening?
He says,
gardening.
he says, Chad, you were supposed to water
Water
them
pail.
every
Yeah,
day.
No. So what's that called?
The
gardening pail.
right?
Gardening
It's a
pail?
pail, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's called a
It
gardening
has
pail?
a shower head.
Water pail.
It has a shower head on it.
I told you to water them.
What's the green gardening thing with a shower head on it?
He says, I told you to water them.
Billy, hand me that green thing with a shower head on
on
it. You see, the guy goes like, oh my gosh, the trees are turning dead. How do we get oh, Billy, I got it. Hand me that gardening thing with the shower head on it.
All they needed was a hose, and they couldn't afford it.
Man.
The trees included Douglas firs, Japanese maples, redwoods, according to the labels still fixed to the saplings. The city paid a contractor to do the planting over a year-long period and then to water the trees for the next calendar year, filling heavy-duty green bags around the bases of the young trees with 15 to 20 gallons of water every week. The city's contract with that company ended March 31st of this year. According to the PBOT spokeswoman, Hannah Schaefer, from that point onward, PBOT, the owner of the triangle, became responsible for maintaining the new trees. Just one problem. The Bureau acknowledges that it hasn't continued to water the trees. Now, some of the saplings will likely have to be ripped out because they are dying or dying of thirst.
Hang on. You're telling me that they're dying of thirst.
Dying of thirst.
They're not dead yet. They're dying of thirst, so we got to rip them up.
This is because they are dead or dying of thirst.
So it's
Period.
cheaper to rip them up than water them.
It's
right.
a big disappointment, but not surprising, says Ray
That's
Johnson.
government for you. That's government. Democrat-run city. Isn't that great? Give Portland a hand.
Maybe
Hey, listen.
Give Portland a big hand.
Here's some words from a local. It is a big disappointment, but not surprising, says Ray Johnson, who lives nearby. I can't help but think that if these trees had been planted in a more affluent part of the city, say the West Hills, they wouldn't have forgotten to water them.
Is that Ray William Johnson?
Ray Johnson.
You said this was
He
Portland?
lives nearby. Portland.
Portland, Oregon.
Now listen,
East
Oregon.
Portland.
Listen, Oregon. It's okay. Trees aren't your thing. It's all right.
You're just Oregon.
You
Just covered in trees.
You can't do
Everywhere
trees.
you see is trees. Oregon.
It's just not your thing.
This
Yeah.
is the most gosh darnest thing. There's a
Just-
whole article about this.
Just
They
try.
forgot to water the trees.
Try hay.
What is this world?
Try corn.
What timeline is this?
Try broccoli.
Okay, Ray William Johnson still lives in Oklahoma City.
So this is not that Ray Johnson.
No, he said that in Oakland. It's really disappointing. I heard about these trees in Portland.
No. This
Really
article would have
disappointing.
mentioned him. This just says this is someone that lives nearby.
Portland, Oregon, you as an entire city should be ashamed that you forgot to water your trees, and it was so newsworthy that we heard about it.
They should have just turned
We
it around.
heard about you forgetting to water your trees.
They should have just turned it around and said, "Dude, we have too many trees." I'm gonna be honest and real with you.
See
don't
that
care
triangle?
about your trees?
The triangle's ugly.
Because I bet
Why
you.
would we want to change it?
Listen,
I bet you a group of people were like, "Oh, the trees, what the trees?" And some guy is sitting up there in office going, "Oh yeah."
I can no longer respect environmentalists.
Yes, that's it. You gotta do the let it die, let it die, let it shrivel up in.
Because you have Portland, Oregon is like a really left Democrat city.
Yeah,
Portland,
I
Oregon.
know someone who got their car broken into.
Yeah. So they're all about the environment and protecting it. All about telling us we're killing the planet.
Yeah.
If you can't water 7 trees in your stupid city,
Triangle.
you didn't get to tell us what to do.
Yeah. So lay off the talk, bro.
Well, it takes. What does it take to water your trees?
Water.
It takes
Water.
consistency
Mm-hmm.
and
Responsibility.
responsibility. Yes.
It takes a grandpa to get down. You got to do this every day.
Every day.
And what do Democrats not
Every
have?
day. Grandfathers.
Consistency,
Dude,
responsibility.
I was too busy looking for Bigfoot.
In Oregon, smoking weed. Joe Rogan's here, man.
Yo, whatever, Dad. I spoke with Bigfoot, so shut up.
Do you think there's like
I'm
a
going to let
Bigfoot?
your trees die, son. The whole
Don't do
world,
that, Dad.
the whole world will hear about your stupid 7 triangle trees.
Yeah, whatever. I watered them like twice.
You think they have like a Bigfoot branded like marijuana thing?
Probably.
Like Saskatchewana.
Oh my god.
Saskatchewan. If that's not a thing, I want it to be a thing. Saskatchewan.
It'll be a really big
Sasquatchewana.
really big roach.
It'll get you there for a week with one.
Saskatchewana. It'll get you there.
It's just massive, like a huge blood.
Yeah. Huge.
You know, a second ago when I said that the woman ran into the "Don't drink and drive" sign.
Yeah.
She's back.
No, driving instructor crashes into Lakewood Driving School, cited for careless driving. It has a great picture right here,
Learn to drive.
and underneath it, there's a car smashed into the
I see
into the window.
Loser.
That's the driving instructor.
That's your future right there.
I wonder if he did that for fun.
long.
There's the government.
Look at it.
I wonder if he's trying to say something.
He's trying to say something. They're just like, I've been teaching kids to drive for 20 years. We have the most fatalities in car accidents than anywhere else. Don't listen to me anymore. I'm gonna make a message.
It happens to the best of us. We don't all crash into buildings. All right.
But when I do, I make sure it's a driving school.
All they have is Bigfoot cannabis.
Bigfoot
See, that's
cannabis.
dumb. Saskatchewan is better.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan.
Let's do it. Let's go into business.
I'd do it.
Sasquatchewana.
Saskatchewan.
I'd sell weed to
Because
weirdos.
Saskatchewan is like Saskatchewan.
Dude, do you think about how easy
Well,
it
we'll
would
do
be?
both. We go to Canada, we'll do
Yeah.
Saskatchewana, and in Oregon, we'll do Sasquatchewana.
Hey,
Saskatchewan.
They're the same thing, but we just brand it differently.
hey, who's the easiest person to sell stuff to?
A guy who smokes weed.
Weirdos.
Yeah.
You open up a weed shop, dude,
Money.
you don't even have to try. Saskatchewan will bring them in.
So he's like, this donuts on the couch, right? His friend's just like, hey, I'm moving to Saskatchewan. You want to come with me? Whoa. Yeah, I love Bigfoot.
Dude. Saskatchewan. You mean
Make
like
that movie.
the hairy thing?
He's a hairy guy in the woods.
With the big feet?
Uncle? No, man.
No. I got it.
Bigfoot.
I got it. You say it again. We're going to move to...
Hey, man, I'm going to move to Saskatchewan. You want to come with me?
My uncle saw him once.
No way. My uncle saw that guy one time.
Episode 100, Saskatchewan.
We lost our minds.
Thank you for listening to this 100th episode of Tan Pants. Thank you for joining us on this journey to 100. Now we can go and crawl back into our Tan Pants cave and go into hibernation. Thank you for listening to another episode of Tan Pants.
Thank you to our patrons, navanjr, gilstronkulous, the Bigtine, and Seth Rosgaard. You guys are legends.
You can join our Patreon too and receive a free copy of my book, The Garden Maze.
What? Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube.
If you'd like to hear more and stay up to date, be sure to ring the bell on the podcast app of your choice.
Let us know what you think. If you had any thoughts on the podcast, ask some questions. We'll answer them maybe.
I approve of this message.
We'd like to thank you for listening to our podcast. See you next time.